On the cusp of Heritage Day, allegations of racism at certain schools have once again thrown the spotlight on the need for diversity management and social cohesion. South Africans celebrate the cultural wealth of the nation on the September 24th annually. To speak to us about the impact of such days and that they have on social cohesion and nation building is social anthropologist Dr. Raj Govender, who's done extensive work on education and cross-cultural studies as a means of social cohesion. He joins us now from our Durban studios. Good afternoon, Doc, and thank you for your time on the SABC News Desk.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to the viewers.
Doctor, let's quickly start off by defining what heritage and culture is and what the significance of such a day is for contemporary South Africa.
Heritage is the customs and traditions that are passed from one generation to the other, from a parent to a child, from a member of a community to other members of the community, from society to society. And it is very, very important that we need to understand that a heritage is the cultural makeup of a society, which is not very, very static, and it can change and evolve with time. And culture, on the other hand, is the rituals, the practices, the language, the traditions, and all, in other words, the whole way of life of a particular community. And that too changes from time to time depending on environmental factors and also depending on circumstances that evolves.
Doc, can you explain to us what is meant by a living heritage and its very important role in promoting cultural diversity and social cohesion in a multi-ethnic society like ours?
Living heritage is all aspects of a culture and tradition that is practiced in a society. For example, the performing arts, craft, the actual rituals, the practices, and so on. And it changes from one society to other because of the roots that particular society evolved from. And it is absolutely important that living heritage needs to be promoted and perpetuated without any interference. The Constitution of South Africa allows the practices and perpetuation of different cultures and traditions and so on without any interference. And because of that, the CRL Commission have been introduced in 1997 to ensure that no community or cultural group is being deprived of their cultural practices, etc. And if they feel that their culture, tradition...
Yes, just on that point, racial tensions still persisting at certain schools, most recently Klipspruit West making headlines, but we've had similar incidents over hair and language policies at other schools. How do we best handle social cohesion and diversity management at school level?
Yes, the community has a very, very important role to play. The school governing body, together with the school management and the district education department, need to all come together and develop a cultural and religious policy for a particular school. Because different schools are found in different areas and are accommodating pupils or learners from different types of societies. So each school needs to have its own cultural and religious policy, and the parent community, parent group of a particular school have a very, very important role to play because they are the ones who can assist in developing policy. And once that policy is developed, then the school management as well as the educators, etc., are bound by that policy that has been developed in a joint fashion. And by doing that, then we will be able to relieve the tension that is presently rearing its ugly head in many schools in Gauteng, in Wentworth, and various other places, because people's cultural needs and aspirations are not taken into consideration in developing policy.
Dr. Govender, very quickly, what should a cohesive, unified society be characterized by? What should it look like? Because for the majority of South Africans, they wouldn't know because they've never had a sense of belonging in a cohesive society before.
Right. South Africa is one of the most unique countries in the continent of Africa because we have such diverse cultural groups, we have such diverse linguistic and religious communities, and it is absolutely important that there needs to be an element of understanding the different cultures, religions, languages, etc. And by doing that, and by practicing and promoting it in a very, very remarkable way, then there will be less tension. When the Heritage Day and Heritage Month was developed in 1994, it was for this particular reason, to ensure that South Africa's rich cultural diversity is promoted and people are given an opportunity to do that. Schools need to have cultural days, and children need to be invited to schools to come and showcase their unique culture, the cuisine, the costume, etc. It is indeed very praiseworthy to note that this is happening right now. But however, more needs to be done in other areas.
Dr.
By doing that,
very
then
quickly,
there will be less tension.
Yes. Yes. Very quickly, the National Development Plan sets 2030 as a deadline for nation building and social cohesion. And it states that by then South Africans will be more conscious of the things we have in common than our differences. Will we reach a point where apartheid is no longer part of our living memory? And to what extent will that aid in social cohesion? And is it all achievable in about 14 years' time?
It is certainly achievable, and the Department of Arts and Culture at national level and provinces are continuously hosting programs and events. For example, they have community conversations or community dialogues on a regular basis, where different people from different cultural groups are brought together to sit around the table to discuss the highlights, the challenges that are facing them, so that they could come together to find common solutions for common problems. And by doing that, then we'll be moving towards the National Development Plan's aim of having a socially cohesive society. That, together with a number of summits that are being hosted at provincial and national level, and also organizing events like Heritage Day, Freedom Day, etc., where all cultural groups come together to promote and practice their culture, certainly we can destroy the element of people living in compartments and silos. And the most important thing we need to realize that first and foremost, we are South Africans with a South African identity. And by doing that and by promoting that, then we will be evolving into a totally democratic country with social cohesion and nation building as its priority.
Thank you, Dr. Govender. I'm afraid we are out of time. Thank you for sharing your insights with us on the SABC News.